Hurricane season 2020 is in full swing as Isaias heads towards the Carolinas. Good afternoon, I'm Mike Nasel with the latest tropical update on Tropical Storm Isaias. It is forecast to reach hurricane strength or be very near that as it makes landfall later tonight in either South Carolina or North Carolina, and we are going to see impacts from heavy rainfall, gusty winds, possible power outages, as well as storm surge. Here's the visible satellite. You can see much better defined than about 48 hours ago when it was down in the Bahamas, and it does appear to be getting close to becoming a hurricane once again. Here's the latest on Isaias as of 5 p.m. from the National Hurricane Center. It was at 32.0 north, 79.4 west, winds of 70. It's moving north-northeast at 16, and on that track, it will make landfall in the hurricane warning area later tonight or early on Tuesday morning. We have a hurricane warning from South Santee River, South Carolina to Surf City, North Carolina, and tropical storm warnings all the way up to Maine, with the expectation that Isaias is going to bring these tropical storm conditions all the way up the eastern seaboard of the United States. Again, right now the current wind field is mostly on the right side of the storm, so North Carolina, you're going to get hit pretty hard even if the actual landfall occurs in South Carolina. Now, looking at the Charleston radar, we've been watching to see if this eye tightens up here that is trying to develop and we get something maybe like an eye wall. It is starting to look more and more like it's going to become a hurricane before hitting land. But again, there's very little difference between a 70-mile-per-hour tropical storm and a 75-mile-per-hour hurricane. But, I don't know, statistically it's a big difference. Some nasty storms here moving through Georgia. South Carolina, you guys are in the rain shield, and that's headed up to the North Carolina coastline over the next 12 hours or so. Water rises are going to be a big concern. We've got storm surge threat here from South Santee River to Cape Fear, 3 to 5 feet. And that's above normal tide levels. So 5 feet of water is nothing to mess around with. 2 to 4 feet from Cape Fear to the Virginia border. And then the Chesapeake, Potomac, Delaware Bay, 1 to 3 feet, all the way up to Long Island Sound. And Narragansett, Martha's Vineyard, you're talking 1 to 3 feet. So this is going to have an impact because even if the center is over North Carolina, you're going to have onshore flow pushing water all the way up the eastern seaboard. So it's going to be a nasty couple of days. I'd say by Wednesday, Thursday, we should get rid of Isaias. Here's another look at the visible satellite imagery, and you can see it is starting to look a little bit better organized there around the center, and if we see an eye pop out, this will become a hurricane. But again, Charleston, Hilton Head, Murrells Inlet, Myrtle Beach, you guys are just having a very wet afternoon and evening here, so I would advise you to stay off the beach, stay away from the water, and stay inside, play cards, do something not related to anything that you could drown with. Again, the center is going to move north-northeast and then bend northeast, and so a landfall maybe around Bald Head Island, possible, Morehead City further up the coast. Either way, a lot of the heavy weather is on the right-hand side of the storm, and that's what we're going to have to deal with. You can see over the next 2 to 3 days that rainfall threat all the way up the eastern seaboard. So if you're in, Vermont, you could see very, very hefty rains, and of course we're going to see the heaviest where the center comes ashore and to the right over the Carolinas and up into the mid-Atlantic states and Virginia. You guys are going to get hit pretty hard with heavy rainfall. The key messages with Isaias as of 5 p.m. Monday evening. Number one, there is a danger of life-threatening storm surge along the immediate coastline and adjacent waterways of northeast South Carolina and the North Carolina coast, including Pamlico and Albemarle Sounds. Number two, Isaias is expected to be a hurricane or near hurricane strength when it reaches the coast of South Carolina and North Carolina in a few hours. Hurricane conditions are expected, certainly in gusts, in the hurricane warning area. Number three, Isaias is going to bring widespread sustained tropical storm winds all the way up to the mid-Atlantic, including the Chesapeake on Tuesday. Tree damage, power outages expected, and that's going to spread over New England late Tuesday into early Wednesday. And number four, heavy rainfall, as mentioned, along the East Coast near the path of Isaias, flash and urban flooding, some of which could be significant in the eastern Carolinas, mid-Atlantic, and northeast through Wednesday. And again, quick responding rivers in the northeast will be susceptible to minor river flooding. So this could be a problem. Remember Irene back in 2011, how bad the flooding was way up here, even though the storm hit the Carolinas? You can see systems do that on the East Coast, so we're going to watch this very carefully. Nevertheless, keep an eye on it. The radar imagery out of Charleston and the southeast coast clearly shows a much better defined system than we had back when it was down near Miami. And I'll tell you right now, if this becomes a hurricane, it is going to pack a wallop. Even if it doesn't, very gusty winds and heavy rain. We'll continue to monitor it as it nears the coastline. I'm Mike Naso from the IPR YouTube Tropical Video Update page with the latest on Isaias.